Well, hello my fine gardening friends. How the devil are you? Well, I've been missing in action for the last few weeks, maybe even 6 weeks. There's no actual particular reason why. I've still been getting on with things in the garden, but nothing new and interesting. So, you know, I'm not one of those people who like putting out videos just for the sake of it. But we're here on an absolutely beautiful November day, November 11th in fact, Remembrance Day. And obviously those of you know me, I'm an ex-military man, and so was my dad, so I'll be remembering my dad, Charlie Farley, who served on flew Lancaster bombers in the Second World War. He was also shot down over Holland and ended up in the prison camp that was depicted in the Great Escape, funnily enough, although he wasn't one of the ones who escaped. So not till the end anyway, but that's another story. But so Remembrance Day today, and so let's remember all of, you know, our fallen friends, comrades, people that we don't know that have fought for our countries in the name of freedom, really. But on with the show, on with the show. So November, things are not really growing now, are they? Most of the trees have lost their leaves, but there is lots and lots and lots to be doing still in the garden to get ready for winter, get ready for next spring. So I thought I'd do a little sort of a bit of a you know, things I'm doing in November to get ready for the winter and next year. And obviously one of those things, I've spoken about this before quite a few times, you're probably sick of it, is raking up leaves. Now nowadays the sort of there's a, you know, the wisdom or the talk on the street is that you don't really need to rake your leaves up, and that's fine. If you don't want to rake your leaves up, it's going to feed the ground and provide a little home for the critters, etc. But I've got much more of a use for my leaves, and I think it's just as good for the planet. You know, I make leaf mould and then I sieve that leaf mould, and that helps me not have to buy any compost from the shops, etc., because I use that as seed compost, and then I mix it up with some ordinary garden compost to make other sorts of potting compost. So that is really good. And there's a video up there on you know, more detail on me using leaf mould. But I also use it for what else do I use it for? Mulching. So why don't we have a little look at that, and I can segue from mulching my beds into another thing I'm doing at this time of year in my flower beds. So actually, before we go to the flower beds, a little bit more on the old leaf mould. I'm lucky enough to have quite a few trees, whether it's sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but most times it's actually good because they're beautiful and they make me happy. But I'm lucky enough to have all these trees, and you know, they chuck quite a bit of leaves, quite a few leaves down in the autumn time, and I've got the room to have this whole area that I've sort of fenced off with chicken wire to put as many leaves as I want in there. But you don't have to have a massive area like this. Let's have a look at another area that I use to store leaves. So any sort of receptacle, a bag, you know, a black bin bag that I've used before to store leaves, or, you know, just an area, or these are made from pallets, just some basically a square, and I dump all the leaves in. One of the good things you can do to help break them down quite quickly is shred your leaves as much as possible. Obviously the bigger the leaf, the more time it's going to take to break down. If you shred them up, whether it's with an actual shredder or with a lawnmower, if you've got a bag on your lawnmower, just run over the pile of leaves and that will chop all the leaves up. That really helps to break them down, and they'll break down within a year if you chop them up rather. So that's good, you know, and I can get more leaves in. When you chop something out, obviously you make it smaller, you can get more leaves in there. So this is chock full of leaves, and because they've been chopped down as well, like I said, they'll go quicker, but they'll make a finer sort of leaf mould for me to be able to sieve. So let's have a quick look at that. So I am in the back of the greenhouse, and here I've got all my bags of last year's leaf mould, or the leaf mould that I'm not using to put on the beds. And here's the thing, if you haven't got enough leaves to actually, you know, use as a mulch on your beds, then you could use it to make a nice seed compost. So I've bagged all this stuff up, and next spring you can see it's quite thick still. Where's a good one? Oh, I'll tell you what, hang on, let me get round here. Et voila. I think I've done this, showed this already, but this is a nice, look at that, sieved leaf mould there. So that's all ready for next spring, for when I'm making when I'm sowing new seeds, etc. It's a really good consistency, not, you know, not overloaded with minerals and all that sort of stuff. It's just great to get the actual seeds going. So next spring this will broken down a little bit more, and I'll sieve this out, so that saves me buying any actual compost to sow my seeds in. So that's that. So if you haven't got enough to do your bed, put some in a bag, and then you can sieve it up and use it for your seeds the next year, or potting up or anything like that. So that is a good use of leaf mould. On to my flower beds. So here's some of the flower beds in the back garden. As you can see, sort of I've extended that top flower bed, and all goes all the way up there, but now I've covered them all with leaf mould. As you can see, a nice few inches of leaf mould, and that will sort of protect the soil and the plants over the winter time, and break down a little bit more, feed the soil, etc., feed the microorganisms that are in there. So that's good. So I've had enough to be able to do these beds, but that is another great use of your leaf mould, and it's obviously all free as well. So, you know, get out around the bazaars, and people are bagging up their leaves and leaving them for the, you know, for the green compost to be taken away. Take them away yourself. You know, get as many bags as you can, and then they'll, you know, leave them in a corner and they'll break down over the winter. Fantastic. So that is the leaf mould used as a mulch. Brilliant stuff. That will stop the leaves, the weeds coming up as well. And the other thing, so that leads me into what else we can be doing in November. Now again, another one of the sort of modern accepted wisdoms is not to be cutting your plants down, your herbaceous perennials, etc., down over the winter. You know, you leave them there for all the critters to sort of have a place to live over the winter. But if you're like me, that your sort of bed has got overgrown, you want to do you know, a bit of a major refurb, now's a great time to be doing it. The soil is still warm, and you know, in the last month or so I've been moving all of these sort of beds around me, plants around, you know, things have outgrown themselves, weeds, etc. I've given it a right old overhaul, and as you can see, it's a lot nicer and neater, and I've got groups of plants that I want in certain areas, moved other ones where, you know, earlier on in the summer where I took photographs and thought, yeah, I don't like the look of that, let's move that around. So I've done all of that now, and then next spring I won't have to be doing that, you know, in the cold sort of ground, and I'll be able to, you know, be doing lots of other things. So this is a great time to be doing things, you know, if you've got a lot to be doing in spring, do it now. Do some of the stuff now. So there we go, yeah. I've cut all of the plants down, moved them, divided the herbaceous perennials, moved them to other places, created a new bed. So there's another thing. Let's have a quick look at that, shall we? So, as well as rearranging the beds that you've got, this is a great time of year to actually make a new flower bed or vegetable bed, whatever it is that you want to create. And I use the old no dig method. So you know, this is sort of not very nice grass, and all I'm doing is putting the cardboard down around this bed, and I've created, as you can see, there's a bit of a pathway coming here. There's that bed on that side, and then the pathway onto the deck, and I'm making this bed, and I'll get some more rocks and I'll bring them around there, put the cardboard down, and then I'll just put the earth on top of that, maybe some manure down first, and I'd actually sometimes I'll put the manure underneath the cardboard, so that'll break down, and that'll all break down over the winter, be ready to plant up in the springtime. And some of the plants that I've broken apart from other, you know, divided from other plants, I can plant up in here in the springtime. And that bed over there, on the right hand side, as you can see, is coming on nicely now, and I only actually made that from a no dig bed last winter time, early spring. So that has come on lovely, and that'll be absolutely beautiful next year, and this will be planted up as well. So making a new bed, nice and easy. You ain't got to dig everything up. Put some cardboard down, earth on top of that, and the cardboard will kill off all the light to the grass, and that will break down over winter. Job's a good one. So yeah, another job for November. Make yourself a new bed. So up until last week, really, these autumn fruiting raspberries were firing out the raspberries to me, even though they actually got battered big style a couple of months ago when we had the hurricane here in Nova Scotia. They recovered, and they were still firing out loads of raspberries for me. So that was really good. Another really good crop from these autumn fruiting raspberries, and it's great when, you know, everything else is just starting to go over. All of a sudden you've got these last beautiful fruits to enjoy, and my boy really loves them, so that's really good. But autumn fruiting raspberries grow on this year's growth, so what I need to do is cut all of the raspberries down right to the base. I could leave them over winter, but then again they get battered, and you know, that can damage the actual plant, so best to cut them all down. And what I'll do is, the majority of them I will shred and put in the compost heap, but I'm going to lay a load of them just on the bed horizontally, give somewhere for the, you know, the critters to hole up over winter, and, you know, protect the bed a little bit. So that'd be good there. So cut all your autumn fruiting raspberries right down hard to the ground, and they will be ready for next spring to start growing again, and next autumn a bumper harvest. There, another good job's a good one. So in that earlier segment I was talking about, you know, this time of year, good time to be dividing all your herbaceous perennials, and then you can either move them to another area or keep them, you know, in a pot over winter until you decide next year what you're going to do with them. So I've done that with quite a few plants in that area. But another good thing at this time of year is it's not just about dividing plants, it's developing that inner Sherlock Holmes and having a little look around the garden to see if there's anything growing where you don't want it to grow, but you actually want that plant anyway. And I started clearing this area around here, it's very messy, and I've noticed 3, not 1 but 3 young rhododendrons. 1, 2, 3, and they're obviously from the mother plant over there, big one, flowered, seeds have come out and it's grown, because I've had another one that I planted somewhere else. But anyway, getting to the point, I'm going to dig them up, pot them up over winter, give them somewhere nice and welcoming over the winter, sort of keep growing on, and next spring I've got a couple of places where I actually want a nice big shrub, and rhododendron's got lovely beautiful purple flowers in sort of early summer here, and yeah, be just a ticket. So have a look around your garden. Are there any sort of new plants that have popped up that you don't exactly want them there, but you could be using them somewhere else? get that Sherlock Holmes going. Right, I'm going to dig up these things now, try to keep as much of the root ball as possible, and I'm going to pot them up ready for springtime. Another good job. Okay, here are my lovely young rhododendrons, looking quite strong there. I was going to film this segment in the greenhouse, but it's actually too hot. Can you believe it? I'm in shorts and a t-shirt on November 11th. Normally when I'm down the Remembrance cenotaph in the morning on November 11th, I've got my long johns on underneath my trousers and a couple of vests. But here I am, shorts and t-shirts. Can't complain. Right, so, like I said, here I am outside the greenhouse. Even still got my, those of you who saw the video, it's got to come down. Still got the old stop work sign that the council put up there when my greenhouse was a bit too big, to remind me, obviously, to plan a bit better in the future, but also never give up and don't let the bastards grind you down. Excuse my language. But anyway, all I'm going to do is I'm going to carry on doing this. But what I wanted to say was, you know, this is not the most earth-shattering news video. Lots of things we normally do, but some things you might forget to do. Just take advantage of of this time of year to do all of those different jobs, moving things around, getting rid of loads of weeds so they don't have the chance over the winter to get really strong. Get those leaves raked up if that's the way you want to do it, like me, and just get out and enjoy your garden. Whether it be the lovely seed heads of the tall grasses here and there dotted around the garden, or the blazing beauty of the dogwoods now the leaves have come off. And I shall be enjoying these hopefully throughout the winter with the white and a nice blue sky, absolutely blazing against them they will, and then doing exactly what I wanted. But just get out and enjoy the garden. When it's a sunny day or a cloudy day, it's a long cold winter, so get out there, get all those jobs done, just get yourself moving, good exercise, good in the old mental stakes as well, keeps your brain active, and just enjoy yourself. Job's a good one.